Welcome to Jazz Piano Daily 128. So now let's talk about part 2 of how to easily form our chords. There's no sheet music, but there is a chart that you can download as a member in the lesson area. All right, so first of all, one thing I want you to do is I want you to just draw a line right down this chart right here. Okay, and you're going to see why in just a second. Okay, so now you're going to see that you have here your 6 major. When I say major, I don't mean major and minor. I mean as in like they are the epitome of the chords that you need to know. These are the 6 chords you absolutely need to know, right? There's other chords besides this, but at least if you could get these 6 chord qualities down, then you'll be in good shape. All right, so first of all, real quick, music theory jargon, chord quality, right? That means, is it major, is it minor, is it dominant? It basically means what type of chord is it when I say chord quality. All right, so if we start with the major 7th chord, the first thing you'll see here is that it is 1, 3, 5, 7 from your major scale. So first of all, if you don't know your major scale, boop, forget it. You're done, right? I mean, you're just not going to be able to figure this out. All right, so now if we take our C major scale, which is easy because it's all white notes, and remember, all we're going to do here is just number the notes of the scale. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And it's 8 even though it's 1. It doesn't matter. You don't even hit that note anyway, but usually we just repeat the 1, right? So you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, okay? All right, so if we play 1, 3, 5, and 7, and obviously we're playing them at the same time. Remember, use that grab technique, right? So if we play 1, 3, 5, and 7, there is our C major 7th chord. Now we haven't gotten into inversions, we haven't gotten into chord voicings and stuff like that. First of all, we just have to learn just the basic chord as it is. There's my C major 7th chord. Okay? Let's try a couple more. We did the F major scale, right? So let's do that as well. F major 7th. And we also did the D major scale. And by the way, if you don't know those 3 scales, we just did them in the last lesson, so go back. All right? D major scale, there you go. 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so again, D major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Play 1, 3, 5, and 7, and there you go. All right, now the reason I had you put a line down the middle here is because this is also an alternate way that we can think about these chords. Okay? So first of all, we could say, what kind of triad is it? All right, so it is a major triad, and then it says the 7th is down a blank step. So you see how it says a blank right there? The 7th is down a what? A half step. All right, so let me put my line there again. And so I have a major triad, and the 7th is down a half step. Let's do that on C again. So start with a C major triad, and the 7th is down a half step. Down a half step from what? From the root up top. There's your 7th. That's your major 7th. So if I play a major triad with that major 7th, now I have a major 7th chord. Some in classical circles refer to these chords as a major 7th, a major minor 7th, a minor major 7th. I will tell you in terms of playing, out and playing, jazz or blues or rock or whatever, I never ever hear a fellow musician say, "Oh, it's a major minor 7th chord," which would be a dominant 7th chord. They'll say it's a dom 7 chord. All right. So if you learned that way, no, I'm not knocking, you're learning that's fine. There's many different approaches, all to the same goal. But just know that you have to kind of really know this terminology right here. It's a major 7th chord. All right, so 1, 3, 5, and 7, or a major triad, and then 7th is down a half step. Both of these things have the same result. Okay, so whether you go with the major scale or the triad and the 7th is down, it's the same result both ways. All right, so now let's go on to the next one. Let's do the minor 7th chord. Well, you can see it right there. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So remember, we did 1, 3, 5, and 7. So now we're going to flat the 3rd and flat the 7th. Okay, if we do it on F, there's F major, F minor. If we do it on D, there's D major. Flat the 3rd, flat the 7th, there's D minor. Also, you can see if we do it on D here and we try this whole approach, this is a minor triad, and the 7th is down a whole step. Yep, get the same exact notes. Okay. All right, so now what about this next one? Dominant seventh. In terms of jazz and blues, the dominant seventh chord is going to be one of the most popular chords that you are going to play. You have to definitely know this chord. So it's 1, 3, 5, and you flat the seventh. Notice also what I'm doing here, just a little technique thing. Say how I move my fingers deeper in the key bed. Deeper, shallower, deeper, shallower. So here, I move them like this because I'm playing it with my pinky, right? So don't do this. Okay? See people doing that? Don't do that, right? And then fourth finger or pinky, completely up to you, but the fingering is typically 1, 2, and 3 in there, right? Some people like to put their fourth finger in there, and if that really feels comfortable to you, I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but I will tell you that it's probably not going to be the best fingering long term. You're better off to go 1, 2, 3, and then use your pinky. Now, if your hands are ginormous like mine are, then I can get away with playing my fourth finger up there, and that's actually quite comfortable, and especially if I was, moving between chords like this, I might go fourth finger and then pinky, right? All right, so let's just do the other one. So there's F7 and there's D7. Now in terms of D7, F7, that kind of stuff, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's going to be our chord symbol talk, which is really important as well. All right, now let's go on to the next chord. The next chord here is our diminished seventh chord. So here we have 1, we flat the third, we flat the fifth, and then you see there's a double flat on the seventh. That means that we flat the seventh and then flat that seventh again. And there we go. And you see that that is a diminished triad, and the seventh is down a whole and a half step, okay, or a minor third. Okay, so this right here is the same thing as a minor third. Right? So this is a minor third right here. All right, so now this chord, minor 7 flat 5. Some people refer to this as a half diminished. I learned it as a minor 7 flat 5, and I like that approach better. But if you like half diminished, then hats off to you. All right, so minor 7 flat 5. See how I always start with the major? Why not? Because I got 1, 3, 5, 7, and then I flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. Well, there I go. Minor 7 flat 5. Another way of looking at this, minor 7 with a flatted fifth. Okay? So if I'm going to half diminish this, how do I half diminish it, right? That was the argument that was always made to me in college as to why they say minor 7 flat 5. And quite frankly, I kind of agree with it. It seems silly to half diminish something. So minor 7 flat 5. On F, minor 7 flat 5. D, minor 7 flat 5. And finally, our augmented seventh chord. This is 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7. Here I would definitely use that fourth finger there. For F and for D. So you see how you can play around with it and just have a little bit of fun and a little bit of improvisation, as you're trying to learn these chords. Okay, so what should you do? You should make sure that you could go through and play all 6 quality of chords on just about any note. Now, if you can't do that right now, I understand full well that that might take a little bit of time for you to do. Remember, you could take this chart, print it off, and then practice away from the piano. It's a real powerful way of practicing, especially this kind of material. So, for instance, you might say, okay, let me do G. All right, G major 7th. I would say a G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, so then G, B, D, F sharp is 1, 3, 5, 7. G, B flat, D, F is 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7. That's my minor 7th chord. Okay, I have that virtual keyboard kind of imprinted in my brain. So when I close my eyes, I could still see that keyboard in my brain. That's because I did so much of this theory work away from the piano when I was younger. It was just like, it was like in my sleep. Okay, so if you really want to get your chords down, you really want to know how to move around the instrument, that's what you got to do. Right, so work on that. I'll see you in the next lesson. To get the first 45 pages of music for free, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com. If you liked the video, please be sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. To watch the rest of the lessons in this series, just click on the playlist to the right of this arrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.